Hello, and welcome back to Rising Sun. Now, for this video, I'm only going to be talking about the extra stuff that comes with the Kickstarter and the expansion sets. So I'm going to be talking about the Monster Pack, Kami Unbound, and the Dynasty Invasion, which are 3 packs that you can pick up later, or might also be some Kickstarter exclusive stuff that appears in this video. I apologize for that. I'm just going to talk a bit about how players can incorporate that into their game as well. For those of you who backed the Kickstarter, you're going to have 2 boxes that look like this. The Monster Pack and Kami Unbound. You're also going to have this. If you bought it, the Dynasty Invasion, you might not have that. So I'll talk about that last. You're probably also going to have this daimyo box. So what I'm going to do now is just take out some of the tokens from the daimyo box and put them here on the board to show you what they replace. If that's not interesting to you, you can skip ahead straight to when I start talking about the Monster Pack, which will be the first thing I'll discuss after the Kickstarter exclusive bit here. If you backed the Kickstarter pack, you'll have the daimyo box. I've actually incorporated my Monster box and my Kami Unbound box into the daimyo box, which is its purpose, so I don't need to use those other boxes anymore. But this will also contain your Fox Clan and all of the fancy tokens that you got with your Kickstarter. For example, we've got these little numbers here, and these just replace our war tokens. So when we go to war, we can put these down on the board in place of those little paper numbers we set up in the other video. We've got plastic allegiance thingies, but these form the same purpose as those other ones, and those will be given out to our clans and just replace the cardboard ones they had before. We've also got plastic political mandates. I actually kind of like these a little more than I should. I didn't think I would particularly care about these, but I actually find them immensely satisfying to shuffle and also to pick up and place on the board. We've also got these plastic shrines, turtles for the turtles and plastic towers for the different individual clans. But these are, again, it's all just straight up replacements for stuff. So, you know, it's like for like. You just substitute in these plastic ones. Here we've got the plastic Ronin tokens that come in the Kickstarter edition as well. So it's all pretty self-explanatory, I think. So now I've subbed in my plastic pieces from the Kickstarter and I'm ready to get the game set up again. I've got some additional seasoned decks here. I've got the boat and mountain decks as well. Those are exactly the same as the Horseman, Archway, and Tea ceremony that we looked at earlier, and they reward you for various different things. So the boat deck sort of plays around a bit with honor, and the mountain deck is really all about the political phase and playing different mandates. So you can shuffle those in instead of your Archway deck to add more replayability to the game. We've also got this monster deck here. This comes with monsters box. So what is this? Well, this is basically just more monsters. So the monsters box just adds, oh, here we go. Ignore the Fox Clan. I've already transferred my monsters into the tray that comes with the daimyo set, but I've got some Kickstarter exclusive monsters here, like the Phoenix, but there's also the monsters that come in the monsters box, like this Earth Dragon. So you'll get this Earth Dragon in the monsters box. You'll get this thing, I forgot its name, it's a scary snake lady. But there's just a load of more monsters that are added. There's a creepy spider lady. I should find her and show you. So there's this spooky tree, suicide tree, with scary faces. There's this creepy ass sort of woman who's kind of like a spider thing. Look at that. It's revolting. Creepy ass man. There's another really angry fire dragon. Brrr! I'm super mad. I'm kind of cool looking and have a beard. This guy, he's kind of like the Oni of Skulls, but with more swords. I think he's the Oni of Hate, maybe, or I don't know, the Oni of Madness. We'll ignore these white figures for now. Incorporating the monsters into your game is super easy. You've got all these monster cards, some for spring, some for summer, and some for autumn. And what the game recommends is you just take the deck of the cards you've got available, depending on whether you got the Kickstarter or if you bought this expansion later at retail. But you just shuffle those, and then you draw one or two at random, up to you. You can draw just one, or you can draw two. And then you add those monsters to your spring season card deck, and they just become available for purchase. So in this case, we've got Earth Dragon and Joragumo, the Kuriiripi Spider Lady, and we could just add these to our spring season deck, and they would just be purchasable. More monster cards. We do the same with summer and autumn as well. So extra monsters, super easy to add to your game. Just deal one or two cards into each season deck. Just makes more monsters available for purchase. Super easy. Next up, we've got the Kami Unbound box, which is a little bit more complex. It essentially gives the Kami Shrines miniatures that become hireable and join your team. So you'll have noticed maybe earlier when I was showing you the monsters, all of these white figures. These figures are Kami, and they correspond to the 7 shrines that come in the core set. So for example, when we're looking at how to play, we were looking at Amaterasu here, and now she is also a model. And that will go on her shrine, and we'll also give her this Amaterasu card. And so what does this do? Well, it's not that hard to add Kami Unbound either, but it does change the game a bit more. What we'll do is we'll take all of the corresponding Kami miniatures, place them on their shrines at the beginning of the game, and take these oversized cards, one for each of the Kami, and place them on the board somewhere. In this case, I'm leaving them out in their default position, but of course you can randomize not only which of the 4 shrines you use, but their placement on the board as well. Remember, the order from left to right is important, particularly with Amaterasu, who nudges up Honor, because that could change tiebreakers on the other shrines. If she's in the first position, it makes a huge difference to if she's in the last position. Whoever controls the shrine during the Kami phase gets to take control of the Kami figure. When you take control of the Kami figure, you can place it down in any shrine, any province on the board. In this example, Turtle Player controls the shrine of Amaterasu. This means Turtle Player can take the model. Turtle Player also takes the Amaterasu card and puts it somewhere in their player area to signify that Amaterasu belongs to them. Kami are controlled by the player that controls the shrine, which means that they change ownership a lot more often. So we don't put the colored bases on the bottom of the Kami. I mean, you can, but you're not instructed to do that. Instead, you're instructed to take the card, because when you claim the model, you can place it in any province you want. But if their allegiance changes to another player, you just simply give them that card to show that they control that Kami now. There are several special rules with Kami. First, they can't be killed. They're basically daimyos. They can't be betrayed. They can't be taken hostage. They can't be killed. None of that. Unless otherwise specified by a special ability, their force counts as 1. 1 force. So they increase your force in a province. But they also come with special abilities. So Amaterasu is the one that these are the ones we start with in the recommended setup for the core set of the game. Amaterasu says, the figures of the player with the highest honor in this province can't be killed by other players. So note that this typically means whoever controls the Amaterasu shrine, she allows you to jump to the top of the honor track. But if honor changes later on, this ability will change. Most of the Kami abilities don't apply to the player that placed the Kami there, or the owner of the Kami card, but simply to players with highest honor, etc. So these abilities can be a double-edged sword, both giving you a bonus, but swiftly taking it away if circumstances change. Fujin says, double the harvest rewards in this province. Winning the war in this province also grants the harvest reward. So you'll note that with Fujin, for example, you might put him down in a province where you want, and then when you take a harvest action, expect double rewards, but in the intervening time, a player might actually get more force than you in that province, thus gaining the double bonus for themselves, because you no longer have the highest force in the province. Pwah! Does it sound complicated? It actually sounds a lot more complicated than it is. For example, Lotus Player takes command of the Fujin Shrine. Thus they get the Fujin model. they decided to put it in Nagato because they'd really like double rewards from Nagato. They're pretty good rewards. However, the Koi clan daimyo enters Nagato province, and Koi clan have more honor than Lotus clan. See? So, now, when the harvest action comes around, the Koi clan will gain double benefits, even though Fujin still technically... but they bring a Bushi with them. So now they're tied for force. One for Kami and one for daimyo against 2 in the Koi clan. So, Koi clan have higher honor, they break ties, they're going to get double bonus for Fujin's ability, even though Fujin is there on behalf of Lotus. Our next Kami is Hachiman. Hachiman says, in this province, Ronin tokens count as 2 force each. So he benefits Ronin tokens. That's really cool. Note that that's everybody's Ronin tokens, not just the person who controls the Hachiman figure. Which is this one, by the way. Is that not really cool? He looks like a total badass. Next up, we've got Tsukuyomi. Tsukuyomi says, before resolving war in this province, all players with force in it gain 4 coins. So, again, that's going to benefit everybody, provided they're in the province with the Tsukuyomi figure. Which is this one here. Next up, we've got some figures that, some Kami that we haven't looked at yet, because they haven't come up. But Ryujin allows you to buy an extra card. If you control his shrine, you can buy a season card by paying the cost on it. His ability is that he counts as having 1 force for every different kind of season card you control. So he can be worth a maximum of 5 force, but typically he'll probably be worth 3 or 4. There's the figure. Then we've got Raijin. Raijin is this crazy drummer guy here. And his ability is that, so if you control Ryujin's shrine during a Kami phase, then you can place a Bushi in any province. It doesn't matter whether you have a stronghold there or not. You can just take a Bushi and place it anywhere on the map. Which is pretty cool, because then his ability as a Kami god is only Bushi and Kami figures count force in this province. So he comes in and he bangs his drums and he knocks everybody except for Bushi and Kami out, which I think is pretty cool. Finally, we've got Susanoo. And Susanoo, if you control his shrine, you get 1 victory point for every stronghold you control. And his ability is that non-Kami figures can't move out of this province. So he essentially locks figures into the province. So one of the important things to note about Kami is they can change allegiances during the war phase right in the middle of combat. For example, if we've got a tie here on the Amaterasu shrine, whoever has the most honor in this shrine is going to control Amaterasu. Because you can commit seppuku in the war phase, which will increase your honor, you might actually change the order of honor in the war phase. Meaning that Amaterasu could theoretically change ownership over the course of the phase. And her ability, which is for the player with the highest honor, is also going to change as well. So the Kami sort of add a lot more diversity, but the most thing to be aware is if you have an equal number of Shinto on the shrine, then the owner of the figure is going to change. Note that the figure only actually gets to move when the Kami phases occur. So when the shrine is resolved during the Kami phase, the owner or the winner of the shrine can move the figure to any province on the board. Outside of the Kami phase, you only move the Kami either when you resolve the Fujin shrine, you can move any Kami figure with his ability, or during a martial action, you can actually move the Kami figure. But unlike placing them in any province, during the martial phase, you just move them one across a border, just like in the rules. The next time the Kami phase is resolved, the figure can be redeployed to any province on the map by the owner of the shrine if they want. Really, the important thing to remember about Kami is they function like regular clan figures. They're worth 1 force except for Ryujin, and they can be moved around just like regular figures. They have abilities that activate on their shrine if you control the shrine. Each figure brings an ability to the province it's in, but that ability tends to be independent from the player who controls the Kami, who also gains the force of that Kami figure. And the Kami can be moved to any province every time their Kami shrine is activated, which is 3 times during the political mandate phase. Dynasty Invasion. Dynasty Invasion is actually a very simple expansion pack. It simply adds 2 more clans. These clans are all operating basically exactly the same as regular clans, with a few key exceptions. In the Dynasty Invasion expansion pack, again, we've got all these plastic bits. We've got the allegiances here. We've got the strongholds. We've got the clan of Sun and Moon, who belong to Onshu and Shikoku provinces, respectively. We've got their clan sheets here. We've got another board, because this is the expansion that technically allows you to go up to 6 players. I mean, I don't see why you couldn't play the core set with 6 if you have the Fox clan, but that's a Kickstarter exclusive, so you probably don't have that if you didn't back this. Anyway, point of the story is these clans operate exactly the same as normal clans in every way. They have special abilities. The Moon clan's special ability is that all of their figures count as 2 force, which is insanely good. But the downside is that they can never have more than 2 figures maximum per province. And figures includes lucky gods. Lucky gods are not monsters, but monsters. You see, you're going to get another deck like this, and these are the lucky gods. But more on that in a minute, because we've also got the Sun clan. The Sun clan's ability is really cool as well. Each time they win a tie that's being determined by honor, they gain a coin and a victory point, and the loser loses a coin and a victory point. So they don't technically steal it. So unlike a take hostage scenario, they can still gain the victory point and the coin, even if their opponent can't lose it, which is really, really good. The only exception to this rule is if they control a shrine like the Fujin shrine here, and another player places a Shinto in that shrine, and the tie is broken by honor. Technically, they didn't win the shrine, they just retained it, so they don't get a bonus for that. However, if they put their Shinto down on the shrine, and they take it away from the turtle player, that counts as winning a tie, so they get that bonus. I don't know why that distinction is made, but I'm sure there's a good reason for it. But that's the only time. So every other time when ties are broken by honor, that's if they make the same bids during wartime. That's if they make you're breaking ties for overall force in the province. Maybe it's force because someone took a harvest action. All these other times you're breaking ties, even at the end of the game. Yeah, that's right. You could be tied for first spot. Hell, you could be tied for second spot at the end of the game, gain a victory point, go up a victory point. Maybe that ties you with another player. You break that tie, you go up another one. You could actually get 2 victory points at the end of the game if it's really close, just by breaking ties with the Sun clan. So that's pretty freaking cool. The Sun and Moon clan cannot hire monsters. This is the catch. These guys here can't be hired. None of them, not the Kickstarter exclusive ones, none of those monsters. They come with their own monsters here. So these are the lucky gods. And the lucky gods replace monsters for Sun and Moon clan. The Sun and Moon clan cannot hire monsters. Instead, they buy these lucky gods, who are pretty cool. I actually really like them. They're really sweet. I like this guy's giant fish. I like this guy riding around on a turtle. I like the turtles in this game. This person's got a little dragon. That's pretty cool. They're playing up an instrument. Anyway, the lucky gods use this deck here, which is lucky gods cards. If you're playing with either the Sun or the Moon, or both, what you do is you simply add these to the appropriate season deck. So you've got 2 for summer and autumn, and 3 for spring, comprising the 7 lucky god models available. And you'll see that they are monster cards, and they operate just like monster cards. They come up, you can buy them, they cost money, they have an effect. Something happens when something happens. They're all force 1, except if they're not for whatever reason, but counts as force 4 while there's an opposing monster in the same province. Bishamon hunts enemy monsters. That's cool. For all intents and purposes, you just take these season cards, you just add them to the relevant season decks, and you're pretty much off to the races. I mean, it's that simple, So you'll find if you're playing with maybe Sun and Moon clan, a couple of regular clans, if you're using the Monsters pack, you'll have a much bigger season marketplace than you would otherwise. But of course, it's controlled by the available train actions. If you're playing with Ryujin, you can get extra actions through his shrine as well, but you're going to be gated at how many cards you can actually purchase. And that's pretty much it. That's what you get from the Dynasty Invasion. Just a couple of different clans with some really interesting special abilities. And it's probably worth noting that the regular clans, i.e. the ones that aren't Sun and Moon, cannot buy Lucky Gods. So the Lucky Gods are only for Sun and Moon clan. They can't buy monsters. They can only buy Lucky Gods. Other clans can't buy Lucky Gods. They can only buy monsters. But in terms of game rules, the Lucky Gods are classed as a monster card. So if there's a sort of a situational thing that comes up with another season card that says gain victory points for every monster you have, then those would include the Lucky Gods. And I hope that's sort of given you a brief overview of the Kickstarter stuff. If you wanted to know, guys, there's also another clan. It's the Fox Clan. The Fox Clan operates like a regular core set clan with their own special ability. They get to put Bushi down in areas they don't occupy. That's about it. Otherwise, it's just a lot more fancy stuff and a lot more variety of monsters. But I hope that gives you everything you need to know to get stuck into Rising Sun. It's really not that complicated incorporating all this stuff once you understand how to play the game. So I hope that you've checked out my core set rules video. But if you haven't seen that yet, please do have a look. And I'll also be playing through Rising Sun with my friends Oliver, Michael, and Manon. So that'll give you an idea of how the game runs as well if you want to come along with us on that journey. And thank you very much for watching. So Moon Clan also cannot have more than 2 Shinto on shrines at any given time. So 2 models per province, 2 Shintos on shrine. I don't know why they come with 3 Shintos. It doesn't make any sense. If they can only have 2 Shintos on the shrines, why give them 3 Shintos at all? Is it because a Shinto goes on the board and can be taken hostage? It doesn't make any sense. That only happens in the war phase, at which point it's too late to put Shinto on shrines. If they can only have 2 Shinto maximum. It says, it's weird. I thought maybe what it meant was no more than 2 per any one shrine. But it says they may never have more than 2 figures in each province or in all the shrines. Does that mean 2 figures in all shrines? The Moon Clan says that they cannot have more than 2 figures in all shrines. Now, this is a little open to interpretation because it could mean they cannot have 2 in all shrines or 2 in any given shrine. I'm pretty sure what it means is only 2 Shinto in all shrines. But that means why have a 3rd Shinto at all? Why not just have another Bushi? Maybe that's how they were making the models. Maybe it's to give the clan a little bit more flexibility. But it's worth noting that Shinto cannot be moved once they've been placed in the shrines because they're not considered on the map. It's also worth noting that players have to respect the rules of the Moon Clan. So if they use the Earth Dragon, for example, which displaces a model into another province, they cannot displace a Moon Clan model into a province with 2 Moon Clan models already in it. So there's currently a FAQ out, CMON FAQ number 1, which I've used to sort of guide these rules, but there may be more clarifications in there on this stuff later on. So if you want to check that out, then make sure you go to CMON or look up Rising Sun FAQ, and that'll give you some more clarification if there's anything I haven't answered here. Also, leave a comment below, and I'll do my best to answer with our interpretations or the rules I've read. I've been reading up a lot of these rules, so I might be able to help you out.